Okay, so what I've done is because it's been exactly 5 years almost to the day since I first did my Ludum Dare. I have gone back through and I have found my entry for Ludum Dare 26, which had the theme minimalism, and I thought I would just take a look at it and see what I think of the thing I made 5 years ago. So I remember this, because I decided with the theme minimalism that I should do literally the minimum, including apparently not capturing the mouse cursor, which is not showing up on the recording. I set out with these pretentious definitions that I still make fun of to this day. Old Unity did not have the same nice lighting models we're used to. And yep, even back then my mouse sensitivity settings were completely wrong. So I'm still fine with this. Whoa. I remember at the time being really confused as to why everyone complained about how slidey this controller was. But that's ridiculous. Release. Stop. Okay. Maybe people had a point. So then this is one of the things that, yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know that I'm to stand in front of that. This I really liked, and I remember setting this up and not thinking too much about it, but then I watched a couple of videos of people playing this, and they just bumped their head into this glass and then turned right and read this, and ended up way sassier than I think I intended. But I'm happy with it. And then I think at this point I was trying to figure out what the game is, because this is not particularly like the rest of the game. But yeah, I feel like, oh wow, that last jump is slightly wider than all the other jumps, just to infuriate players. Why? Why would I do that? Past me, why? I also don't think that the glass is used at any other point in the game, and I don't think that definition is necessary, but I don't think any of them are. I think I'm just... This was 5 years ago. Since doing this, I have become a much better programmer. I learned Unity a lot better. I've done a lot more Ludum Dares, so I have an idea of what's reasonable for the time. Although, actually, that is just awful for players to navigate, because what everyone will end up doing every time is just ramming their face into this, and then holding it, and then suddenly a gap appears and you move through, and you don't quite know why. It looks cool, but it is why. I think I just put it in because it looks cool and you could get through it. I didn't put much thought into if I should, I guess. Yeah, I've learned a lot since this. I've learned a lot about what makes games fun, and what it is not is this jumping puzzle, because I still hate this. And here's the part where I thought, oh, that part worked well in the last room. Let's do it again, with a slightly different colour. And then put a jump that's just a little bit too long, so that only someone that's done this 1,000 times will be able to do it. And then put this elevator here in such a way that no one will notice it, with no hint as to that's what should happen. Yeah, that needs... I don't want to go back to remake this game, but it's not a good thing. Oh look, the awful part that no one can do. It's been literally 5 years since I played this. I still remember all of the pain that I have of watching anyone ever play this, and yep, and now we talk about the lack of checkpoints. Why? Apparently checkpoints are not part of what me 5 years ago thought was a minimalist game, or were not a thing I knew how to do when I made this, because it was one of my first times ever using Unity for an actual game. Oh man, I hate past me for this level. Why did I do this to myself? But I'm pretty impressed that I was able to... I'd basically not used Unity before. Or I'd done some programming in like high school classes, but that was it. I just saw that this event was happening and decided to spend a weekend on it. This is, I think, where the game actually is almost competent here, because I start you in this room, I tell you what you're about to be introduced to, you turn around, you see it, you have no other option, there is no possibility of making a mistake in this room, and then you press the switch and it changes colour like that, and the door comes down. Could do with some audio and some effects and some fanfare, but I didn't know these things back then. I also like that because the door moves on a sine curve, its last little bit moves really slowly, so you will always get caught when you move through that lip. But, okay, the main problem with this door is everyone did this weird double tap thing on it, where they like double triggered it. Didn't realise because the door just moved so silently, and because there's no texture, it's smooth. If you stand here, you can't even tell it's moving. And then here, there's still no possibility. What I should have done is close that door behind you, because there is a possibility of getting confused. Trapping yourself back in there. You turn one and you're like, but it's not on. What I should have done is something like Portal, where you get a line that connects them, but I probably didn't know how to do that at the time. Lots of things to make it clear as to what's going on. The lack of textures. I mean, I get that was part of the theme, but I think I should have made the doors move on an axis where the lighting wouldn't have made it so damn hard to see if they were moving. Also, this one is just bad. There it is. There's the double trigger thing I was talking about. See, this one here is quite easy to tell. I mean, you're not just going to be looking there. It's the whole screen kind of works. Objective marker. I don't like how the lighting looked on that bit. This is the worst puzzle in existence, because the idea was you would experiment and press each button and see what each one does, because each one of them toggles a different too. So I was really pleased with this puzzle when I came up with it. I just solved it by accident, thus completely demonstrating the core problem with it. Because the idea was if you just randomly press buttons, you'll never get it because it inverts. The problem is, if I can put this back in its initial state. I don't even remember what the initial state was. I think it was just that one. If you just run down this line, you will just solve it, and that's the first thing everyone does, so this isn't a puzzle. This is a terrible, terrible puzzle. It's just it's meant to be guesswork to investigate what each button does. What it is just press some random buttons, solve a puzzle, and you're not entirely sure how you solved it. This one is an actually almost functional puzzle, because you've only got one option here. I mean, it's not a puzzle because there's no thinking involved. Push this thing, it's the only option you have, and you come back. Push this thing, and now both of them are on, which means the bridge will start to extend from the far side. Also, everything moves on a sine wave, which means it moves through the middle part of its motion really, really fast. And then the last bit that you actually need to happen in order to be able to use the thing is just painfully slow. Just why? Why would I do that? There we go. Just so needless. Okay. This puzzle, I remember, I don't know if I'm going to be able to solve. I mean, I probably can. Because I think it's just push all the buttons and, yeah, cheat it. And then get stuck out here. Not be able to get back without dying. Yeah, I didn't do checkpoints. I think what I actually do is reload the damn level when you die. I think that was to reset the puzzles to avoid getting stuck, but come on. Just be better. See, this puzzle has got no cues, no indication of what I should be doing. Oh, and I just double tapped that button. And so it's just really, really unpleasant, I think is the word I'm going to use there. Puzzle design is hard, and I fully acknowledge that I am not good at it. Still. However, there's a difference between, like, not good at it and not really trying. No. Anyway. Yep, this is just a bad puzzle. This is actually, I think, the only puzzle in this game. Because it's the only one that you actually have to try and... like, you have options and you've got to choose the correct ones. And you've got to complete the actions in the right sequence to achieve the desired result. However, what the buttons do is meaningless. So you can't try and solve the puzzle before you start. You've got to just try everything, see what it did, and then go back. So I would say this is not a minimal puzzle. This is not a puzzle. As you can see, I made this puzzle. I know the answer. I mean, I knew the answer at some point. I'm not stuck. The game is fighting me. I cannot implement the solution that I know. Because of basically being bad. I mean, this is not a bad game inherently. It was made in 48 hours by someone who'd never made a game before. And that's a really awesome thing that I did that, because if I hadn't done this, I probably wouldn't be making things today still. But it's looking at this now, I am quite surprised that I've been able to make good games since. I'm just gonna do this puzzle fast because this solution is, I say, a little bit nonsensical. And guess what? This level trigger doesn't work. We don't even get the whole game because they couldn't find a complete build. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I learned a lot by doing it, but I don't think anyone else should have ever played it. I should probably have kept... I feel like looking back now, I should have kept this to myself, because the other annoying problem is this did fairly well in ratings. I think because the theme was minimalism, and it is minimal. But it is not good. This is also the most, what was for a long time the most attention I'd ever got on anything I'd made. I had like people making YouTube videos. Rockley Smile did a video on this, thousands of views. Other people made videos, and it's just not. It doesn't seem worth it. I made a game a long time ago, and it does some cool things, but it needs a lot of work, and with what I know now, I would probably have not made this game at all. So maybe that's the thing. I made a thing that I didn't know enough not to.